Comedy FC. Here we go. Here we go. This is the URT. You are the URT. Welcome to the URT. Big up the URT. What go on, URT? How we doing, people? Early bird people are up in here already. Comedy FC. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, man. Big up, Solomon. Appreciate you. We're shadow banned, but we know what we're doing, man. We're creeping. We're creeping. Creeping. Welcome to the jungle. We've got fun and games. Yo, it's crazy out here. Big up, Ali. Big up, Sheikh Arian. Yo, tiring, people. We've not been live for a while, but it's what it is, people. There's nothing to report. There's nothing to talk about. It's BS. It's all BS every single day. I'm happy that with this Sesko news, another Highland situation, paying big money for a young guy to leave. Yeah. Well, we're gonna get into that, but anyway, get in the vote already. People, get into the vote. Get into the vote, people. Get into the votes. There we go. 44% of you are saying you rate him. 56% of you saying you don't. You're not rate him. So where we are. Big up to everybody. Luke Shaw says that every year, Mr. Comedy. Oh, we're gonna expose him. We're gonna expose Luke Shaw, mate. He's part of the Branchester FC, mate. He's one of the colonels of the Branchester FC. He relies on getting good PR, so he's trying to do another good PR. Another WWE footballer. Facts. Man United should have got to Osman. Instead, they signed he signed Galatasaray permanently. Yeah. Good luck to him, man. Good luck to him. Yo, big up the Turkish league, man. Turkey clubs are not messing about. The Turkish clubs are not messing about, people. So big up to them. Big up to everybody. Please, let's get in. Nah, you know what? It's too late, man. It's too late. By the time United go live, it's too late, man. It's too late. It's absolutely too late, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's too damn late. It's a pre-season game, man. I'll wake up and I'll watch the highlights tomorrow. I'm already sleepy, lad. I'm already sleepy, mate. I'm already sleepy. Big up to everybody. I'm like, I'm actually, I actually rated Sesko 2 years ago, wanted him, but then now he's on all this. All his goals dried out, most of it similar to Highland's numbers. Yeah, it's not even about numbers for me. It's like, what can he do? Can he hold up the ball as much as Muniz? I like Muniz. I like the other guy from Bournemouth. I'm like, go for those strikers. And Milson, is it Adam Milson? Is that his name? Bournemouth striker. He's a good player, man. But yeah, people, come in. Welcome, people. Welcome. Big up to the people. Let me see if I can invite a couple of people. If they're live yet. We're gonna get an interview. We're gonna play some interview with him at the moment. Yeah, I think this is a couple of years back, but we'll play that. Well, let's hear it from the man. Let's hear from the man to begin with. But big up to everybody. Big up to the people, big up the gang. Let me just try to send some couple of things to people. See if they're about. See people are about. Let me send this to Luwani. Jump on if you are about. I think Ben's still on holiday. Let me just send it to Sesko Lesso as well. We got my brother Lesso. I like Lesso, Where's Lesso? I like Black Brain. Big up to Lesso, man. Big up Lesso. But yeah, let me just go into it, people. But people, please smash a like, subscribe to the channel. I think we're 3 subscribers away from, basically 3 subscribers away from what are we? Yeah, we're 5 subscribers away from 13.4K. So big up. If the fans are going to say he's better than Hoyland, anybody is better than him. Even I'm Nuruddin, we're just desperate for that but proven. Yeah, big up. I think you're better than Hoyland. At least you can stay on your feet. Anybody that can stay on their feet on a football pitch is better than Hoyland. Nuruddin, I see you on my ET feed now, man. Finally. Well, let's hope. Big up to you, man, Hussein. Luke also should concentrate on getting fit. Stop taking bull. Yeah, big ups to Jinder. Love. Big up, Nuruddin. I hope you well, bro. Always free Palestine. Oh, yes. Let me just get my thing. Let me get my kafir. Hold on. 1 second, people. 1 second. One momente. One uno momente, people. Let me get my kafir. There we go. There we go. Kafir is about, people. Kafir is about. Let's be having you, people. Let's be having you. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. But yeah, let's get into him. Should we wait for the people to get in? How are we doing, people? Where are you? Wherever you are in this world, welcome. Welcome to United Real Therapy, people. Welcome to United Real Therapy. Even though I'm a Liverpool fan, I keep watching your channel, man. Big up, Nuruddin, Philip Palestine. Yeah, big up, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, man. Please let other people know about the channel, bro. Here, we don't hate Liverpool. We don't have any hatred. We can't even banter Liverpool at this moment in time because the owners banter us every day. And now we're getting desperate. Now we're panicking. We were not in this current transfer window. Manchester United were nowhere near linked with Benjamin Sesko. It looks like we are now. Nuruddin, we are modding Liverpool Isaac deal by hijacking Sesko. Nah, but I don't want that though. We shouldn't. Liverpool are going to do what Liverpool are going to do. Manchester United should do what they need to do. I don't believe in that BS, man. Isaac and Liverpool will be sorted. We don't need to muddy nothing. We don't need to muddy anything, man. Yeah. We don't need to muddy any blood murder, she wrote. We just need to do what we need to do for Manchester United. Big on I told my friends to subscribe, man. Big up to you, yeah, man. Love, appreciate you, appreciate it. Listen, it's your community as much as anybody's, people. So yeah, we're here, we talk about Manchester United, we give a different point of view. Some people think it's negative, but we say it's our point of view. It's our 2 pence, people. That's what that is. It's our 2 pence. It's our 2 pence, people. So yeah, please smash the like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, people. But yeah, let's hear from my guy. Let's hear from my guy. Let's present. Let me just present, man. Bear with, people. Bear with. Big up to the people. Big up to the masses. Big up to the people. Let me just have a look at the video, actually, before I show you. Let me see if there's any signs in it. Let me just see. Have a look. Bear with. I just want to show you him talking about who he looked up to. This is Benjamin Sesko. And we need to be objective as well, people. We need to be objective because that's how it is. People have to be objective. We have to be super objective, people. We have to be objective. There we go. Man like Staffy. Big up man like Staffy, man. Shout out Staffy. But let's
You're growing up. Who are the forwards that you look at? You try and model your game around.
The one guy I looked actually the most, of course, besides Ronaldo, those guys, they were always in the front page, let's say, was Ibrahimovic. For me, this is a role model. And the guy that I watched unbelievable a lot. He's definitely different than me, yes, but just some some situations sometimes I try to copy, and because he's been always amazing, and just the way he is, I like it always.
How are your karate skills then, or taekwondo? Are you black belt yet?
I can do the leg thing, like up and so on, This stuff I can do, but if someone comes towards me, then I don't know.
As you're growing up, who are the forwards that you look at? You try and model your game around.
The only guy I looked actually the most, of course, besides Ronaldo, those guys, they were always in the front page, let's say, was Ibrahimovic. For me, this is a role model, and the guy that I watched unbelievable a lot. He's definitely different than me, yes, but just some situations sometimes I try to copy, and because he's been always amazing, and just the way he is, I like it always.
How are your karate skills then, or taekwondo? Are you black belt yet?
I can do the leg thing, like up and so on, This stuff I can do, but if someone comes towards me, then I don't know.
As you're growing up, who are the forwards that you look at? You try and model your game around.
The only guy I looked actually the most.
There you go, people. There you go. That's Benjamin Sesko talking about former Manchester United striker Zlatan Ibrahimovic, saying how he looks up to him. Yeah, big up to a fan. Big up to you. Welcome. I watch you on Saturday TV. Yeah, big up, people. Big up, man. Big up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, man. Yeah, Zlatan was unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. But it is what it is. But I genuinely want to... hey, we got somebody here. Nuruddin, you fraud. Waffling about Munia. You can't even spell... Oh, bro. Are you dyslexic like me? Big up. Welcome, Kunya. Totally disagree, but I'm not a fraud. Munias, yeah, I rate Munias, yeah, 100%. The Fulham striker, I rate him. And I've even got a bit of breakdown about him, why I rate him. I rate him, I think injuries have hampered his development at Fulham. He's 24 years old, and I would actually go and get him more than I would go and get Nunes. That's just me personally. But yeah, you can clip that all day and all you want. Clip it all day, every day, whenever you want. I can defend my arguments. Yeah, I can defend my arguments. So that's how it is. I can debate my arguments. Rasmus Højlund is a dream target for IP Leipzig. Manchester United showing Leipzig the opportunity to include a player deal, Benjamin Sesko. Well, it is what it is. Manchester United, I don't rate this guy. Honestly, I don't rate him. I think Unana's shit, but I think this guy's a problematic as well. Manchester United made an inquiry about Donnarumma earlier in the summer. PSG are braced for United renewing their interest in Donnarumma once they signed Lucas Chevalier. Well, yeah, I don't rate my guy either. Like, I genuinely don't. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't rate my guy. I think my guy's problematic. I think Onana makes mistakes. My guy lets in some dopey goals. Watkins wasn't a good. Listen, I don't. Muniz, to me, is a better option. Me personally, Muniz is a better option. But yeah, I was just about to try to convince myself about Watkins because, you know, him and Mbeumo played together, and I was trying to convince myself because Mbeumo spoke highly of him. So yeah. What CM would you buy and need a new CM? I'm fuming. Reinders went to Man City. Baleba. I would buy Baleba, yeah. Nuruddin, do you have a PhD in Glazonomics? 100%, mate. 100%. Ain't nobody, my knowledge of what the Glazers, who the Glazers are, what they've done to this football club. The record is there. Every other channel on YouTube was telling you the Glazers was for sale, that Qatar were going to buy it. I told you all that none of it was true. I didn't believe any of it. And I told you all that Manchester, the Glazers were looking for a fucking investment. And I was telling you before that, I was one of the channels telling you the Glazers are broke. Something had to change. I told you all that Manchester United, because where we were We were not going into Champions League. We kept losing money, and they had to do something to look for investment. I kept telling you all as well. And then I also told you about Jim to begin with. But then when I realized what he was doing at Nice and who Ineos were, when I found out, I told you all, do not trust this guy. So, yeah, my knowledge is there. The videos are there. The videos are there. Nuruddin, big up to you, Callisto. Nuruddin, will Manchester United finish 7th by 2026 season? I don't know. Luke Shaw thinks we might win the league. But anyway, let's seriously, do you rate Sesko? Get involved in the community bit, right? Let's have a look. Get involved. Oh, it's nearly 50-50. It's 46-54 now. So please keep voting and keep smashing the likes on the video. Keep smashing the likes on the video and keep voting, because I genuinely want to understand who is and what do you think about Sesko? Because I just don't understand another kind of project where people are almost like going, oh, with Rasmus, so we're going to try again, another young guy. I personally, 2 years ago, after Eid, I was talking about Sesko, and I was like, this kid, yeah, there's a bit of a talent. There's a bit, because I saw some footwork, some skills. He's not kicked on in the last 2 years. He's not kicked on and developed. And Manchester United does not have the foundation, does not have the plans to develop players, to improve players. So what the fuck do people want this kid for? What do they want this kid for? We don't have the foundation, nor the plans, nor there's the coach showing any evidence of improving any player. Coach has shown he can't improve one player. We don't have the foundations, and we don't have the plan to develop young players. And for me, it's also panic FC. We're panicking. We're just panicking. We are panicking trying to sign this kid, because all summer we were linked with all type of strikers, but we were never linked with him. We were never linked with him. Yeah, big up to Khalees, and big up to Sheikh Harian as well. Big up to Ali as well. Big up to all you lot. Big up to Chief Editors, man. Big up. Benjamin Sesko's open to top. Yeah. For me, where was that all summer? We were linked with Yorkeres. We had links with Osman. We were linked with Delat. But Benjamin Sesko did nowhere come up. No way did he come up. So I'm just like, what the hell? I don't think so, you know. I genuinely don't think so. In the UK, it's 2:30 in the morning, and I have to get up early on Thursday, man. I have to be up. I've got things to do on Thursday morning, man. I'm working, and I've got to go and get my cat Skolzy to the vet. Well, how much did they sign Gittins for? They signed Gittins for 55 million. Manchester United need to get 55 million. We need to get that Mason Mount money back. That's what we need to do. Big up Khalees Robin Lassie. Sesko scored 13 but to finish 9th in the scoring chance behind Omar Mamouche, who came to City in January. At the end of the day, I think he might have been playing on the left-hand side, so he might have not even played as a striker. So I don't hold that against him, but I just feel in the games that I watch in the Champions League, in some of the games that I watched him, I don't think he's developed. 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, he looked like more like, yeah, the touches were more smoother. I personally, in my humble opinion, feel like he might have regressed. Now, some people are saying he hasn't. And for me, I'll ask the question again. Tell me the last striker. I asked people on the Mandem. Tell me the last striker that come from the Bundesliga that made it success in the Premier League. All the Mandem could come up with was Aubameyang. That's about what? 7 years ago. In 7 years ago. Nah. People don't want to have that conversation. Big up, Letso. Letso, welcome, brother. How you doing?
Big up, Nuruddin. Big up to the chat as well, and especially the like button people.
Yeah, man. Big up to you, bro. Talk to me. Listen, do you rate Benjamin Sesko? Where do you stand on this Benjamin Sesko? Malava, do you like him? Do you rate him? Do you think he'd be a good fit for Manchester United? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm torn. I actually do rate the player, to be honest. I just think at Leipzig, I think they do have a problem there because he's not more of a 9 at Leipzig. He plays on the wide side. If the last time when I watched him play, he doesn't really he comes on the inside rather most of the time. He's not really primarily a number 9. So I think in that sense, I don't know why they do it. I think it's the same reason why we did it with Welbeck under Sir Alex Ferguson, where Sir Alex Ferguson tried to play him off the wide and then tried to convert him fully into a striker. The same thing with Henry, what happened with Thierry Henry. So I think with Leipzig, they dragged it on for too long a bit. Especially playing him out wide instead of, letting him be primarily a number 9. I think it's the right time to shift him there. You can see that if it was done for the purpose of trying to improve his overall game game is actually quite good. It's actually quite developed overall. If you watch him, actually, like I've watched a couple of games as well with him. He's not a guy that just waits for the ball. He's a guy that actually brings a lot of players into the game. I've seen him putting crosses, go out wide and putting crosses. I've seen him beat a couple of people. So his all-round game has actually improved. I think that was the whole purpose of him moving out to the wide spaces. Just like when you look at Welbeck was very intelligent in that sense. That's why he could play in the wide spaces under Sir Alex. But at Manchester United, I don't know what the plan is with him. And that's the only worrying part. But I do, as a player, I do rate him. I believe if he goes to Newcastle, he smashes it. And he easily becomes an 80 million to 100 million pound player. We've seen this happen a lot of times. It's just that with Manchester United, can we really trust them to actually manage him? I mean, he backs himself. That's the most important thing. As a player, you need to back yourself first, and you believe that you can play for a club of that size. So for me, it doesn't strike me as a player that is low on confidence, and he suffers under pressure and all these other things. Because once I've seen him, as early as he has been playing, he backs himself. So him probably having 2 seasoned pro Premier League players alongside him, in that final third could actually assist him because, I mean, people think Sessko just came in yesterday. He has played played 3 years in the Champions League. He has featured so many times for his international side. He has played the Nations League. He has played in the Euro. So, you're not looking at a guy who just came in yesterday. You're looking at a professional footballer, and he's only going to turn 23, yes, but it's not the same context to a point where you're thinking is like Hoyland, and he needs super developmental elements. I feel like Leipzig has done the job for us in that essence already by playing him out wide. So right now, obviously, his primarily focus is to now be a straight number 9 and actually start banging in goals. And I like the fact, like I say, he doesn't wait for the chance creations. He's part of the build-up. He gets all types of goals. So it's not a thing where now he has to wait for the ball at his feet or any of these things. He can score blinders. I've seen him score spectacular goals from outside the box. He's powerful. He pushes people all over the place. So for me, it's not I wouldn't predetermine that he's going to fail because it's from the Bundesliga. I mean, if Lewandowski came to Manchester United at the time when we decided to go with RVP, he could have been a success. I think it's just the point of what type of a player we're trying to bring in and whether he has the support around him to be successful, And we know for a fact that a guy like Lewandowski would have came to the Premier League and been a success. It's not a question that the Bundesliga doesn't have these type of players that can come in and actually, be successful. It's just that I think we never got them, and in the case of him, Lewandowski could have been one. He could be that guy now, You know, if Manchester United actually have a plan and we actually, you know, follow up with it, I don't see him, even if he fails, to be honest, you know, he's less of a risk than as opposed to getting an older striker, you know, like your Watkins or someone. He comes in a season, he does well. Second season, he's injury ridden, and, you know, he slows down a little bit. He's on high wages. You're trying to get rid of him in his third season, and no club is looking for him because he's on high wages, and he's not gonna try and bend those wages for nobody. You know, that's within his rights. So I I look at it, and it's a minimal risk, to be honest. It's a risk with taking because you can offload him. He's at the right age, you know, personally and financially. It makes sense for Manchester United to go for a move like this. Whereas if they get rid of him, they can replace him with someone else, you know, and that's how I look at it. I think it's about minimizing risk in the point of how we conduct our businesses. I mean, right now we're suffering for making these kind of short-term moves. If you think about it, we're suffering as a result, and it just ends badly, and it keeps us in the dark with the transfers. Like, that's why things are going very slow in the transfers, because we can't offload people. So in that sense, I think there's common sense needs to precede everything in this point. You know, as much as he's not my first choice, and I do rate him, but he's not my first choice. There was Jonathan Davids, which I always mentioned to you guys that I wanted. He's gone on a free. He was a more established striker. He was from the French league, which was more, in terms of physicality, was more equivalent to the Premier League. We didn't go after him. I don't know why, because the guy actually said that Manchester United was his first choice. So that's on the board. You know, that's on Jimmy and all these other guys. But we didn't go after him. We missed out on a couple of other signings, Gyökeres. So he is right now, him, Mateta. I don't see us going after Mateta personally, because Crystal Palace, I don't see them selling so many players. So I think they're trying to go after this guy because, I mean, to be honest, if you think about it, all the signings that Ralph Rangnick has suggested to Manchester United, not most of them have actually gone on and they've become better players. And if we had signed these players back then when Ralph Rangnick suggested us, including Sessko, I mean, all of them would have, it was about a list of 10 players, right? And all these 10 players cost, when you look back now, their market price, you know, it's ridiculous. All their market prices has quadrupled, you know, and Sessko was on that list that Ralph Rangnick presented. And it was 100 million for all these 10 to, well, it was around 10, 12 players that he suggested on the list. And, you know, Manchester United probably look at that and they're like, you know, it's a wasted opportunity. And we need to start functioning in that manner where we get these players for these cheaper prices. It's not sustainable in the long run financially. So, yeah.
Big up to you. Big up to Khalees from that's Juventus United, Real Therapy. Khalees, keep the Luke Shaw. I've started them all, so I'm going to store them when we come to that section when we talk about Luke Shaw. But big up to you. So apparently Vival is pushing it. So it's interesting. Let me go to the poll quickly because I want to be objective. People are here. Actually, it's the other way around now. So 54% of you say you rate Sesko. 46% of you said you don't rate Sesko. So yeah, it looks like 46 of you. It's completely 2 minutes ago. I think in Lesso you might have persuaded the fan base. I actually, a couple of years ago, I saw the kid and I thought the kid was a good player, and I was, you know, really liked him for the type of player that he was, and I genuinely don't think he's improved that much. When I watched him in the Champions League, he played up front at times, some of the times, and I just was like, nah, I don't see it. Honestly, I don't see it. I think the ball bounces off him. I think he's looking too leggy. And I asked the question, Lesso, who was the last striker from the Bundesliga to come and make a success in the Premier League? Who was that? That was Aubameyang. It's 7 years ago. 7 years ago. Aubameyang. So at the end of the day, people, that's my 2 pence. But I have to be fair, have to be super fair. And at this moment in time, those of us who and the other big thing is that is too many risks. So I give my reasons. He's another experimental guy. He's another project guy. And we don't need that. Manchester United do not need that. Manchester United need, we finished 15th for a reason. We need a 26-year-old striker, somebody who's been around the block, who knows and who can get up and get running. And we need somebody who can help and facilitate the number 10s and other players. And even when he didn't score, let's say 10 games he didn't score, but in those 10 games he's getting 7 points on a match ratings, he's getting 7.5, then that means he's doing something great. He's doing great. I like my strikers play well even when they don't score. I like my strikers who play well even when they don't score. And they contribute to the team winning. They contribute to the team performance. That's what I like. That's what I'm about, people. That's what I'm about. And here is another risk. Rasmus was a risk. It didn't pay off because Manchester United are not stable enough football club to be able to develop and coach. And it's not at the ground to foster. I mean, he needs to think about himself. I won't go to United because Manchester United is on everybody. Your trend, Sesko. If I was advising Sesko, you were going to trend. Every little thing is going to be magnified. You are under the, honestly, magnifying glass. Every little thing you do on the football pitch is going to be watched. And Newcastle, we already know Eddie Howe improves players. Eddie Howe, for fuck's sake, has literally made Joe Linton into one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. This is so-called striker from Brazil. Sorry, from Germany as well. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Joe Linton didn't he come from Germany? Can please somebody let me know? People, smash the like on the video. Let's get 100 likes ASAP. It helps the channel. It helps the channel if you like the video. I don't ask you to become a member. I'm not asking you to, I'm asking you just to like the video. We're shadow banned because we refuse to sell out. We refuse to be fucking bootlickers to the establishment. We refuse. We refuse to be coons to the establishment. Goons to the establishment. Bootlickers or sheep. We talk about the starvation, what's happening. The starvation and the complicity of this government, this country, the British media political class in this country, as well as America, as well as majority of European nations. In the starvation, what's going on in Palestine, we refuse and we're being punished for that because we dare talk about that, but we don't give a damn. So the least you could fucking do is help us, is like the video. But it's simple, people. It's simple. I am not against Benjamin Sesko. Benjamin Sesko, I would take if Manchester United had foundation, if Manchester United had developmental plans, and there was a record in the last couple of years of Manchester United improving players. And if I had the most faith in this coaching, I would be like, okay, you know what, bring him in. But I don't believe in any of that. There's zero evidence in any of these things. All we've done is overplay Rasmus Højlund. Now he can't even stand on his feet. We made him into this striker. When he was at Atlanta, he wasn't doing this. He wasn't falling about the place. He wasn't. When he first came in, he wasn't falling about the place. Now he can't stay on his fucking feet. This is what we are. This is what we are. And the type of money they want for him. I'm going to ask you, Leso, would you have taken... I personally believe Ekitike is more technically superior footballer than Sesko. Do you agree or disagree?
No, I definitely agree, but we're not going for that signing, to be honest. Fans were honest with that.
Let me finish. Well, the same amount of money that they want is exactly the same money that Liverpool paid for Ekitike. And he's a United fan. Why we didn't get him?
That's on the board. I told you guys that he wasn't my first choice, but you know, this is on the board. But like all in all, to be honest,
by the way,
since we lost out,
I watched an interview where Jonathan David was talking about he wants to play in Spain. He said that. He didn't want to come. He said he wants to play. His thing is to go and play in Spain. I saw it with my own eyes. an interview where he's saying, "Oh, I love to play in La Liga." I don't know about him. United.
Yeah, I saw that there was an article, funny enough, after he joined Juventus that came out, and I think it was from his camp to specifically, because I don't think they'll just spread this out and put it out there for no reason. Where he stated he doesn't know how and why Man United never came for him, because if we're being honest, he did name the Spain, and he did name England, the sides that he wouldn't mind playing for in England and in Spain. So I think it was about who wanted him, to be honest, more or less. But Manchester United was one of the clubs he fancied, because he knew he would walk into that starting 11, to be honest. And all strikers look at such things. Obviously you don't want to go where you're not going to play, or you're not guaranteed a start. So that's a missed opportunity, honestly, and that's on us again. Like I say, even with Ekitike, I like Ekitike because his style reminds me more of Greenwood. If you watch him, the way he plays, the way he moves with the ball and glides through defenders, and as well as pick up the ball in spaces. It's the same movements, same way, same style of play. So it's a missed opportunity. Fans didn't want him. Remember when we were linked with him in the beginning, fans were already talking about the age thing. Just the same thing with Sessko now,
Yeah,
and
well, that's what I'm saying to you. But when I looked at him, I said it here. I said exactly the same thing. But I actually believe he's technically better player than Sesko. I said Ekitike, we can't develop him. So I was like, go and get Ottoman. That's what I was saying. Like, we can't develop him unless you played here. Can I ask you the question? Can you remember the last striker that came from Germany that made it in the Premier League?
Yeah, well, you can't really. Okay, with that one, all I know is Firmino and Aubameyang.
It was a number 10. It was
Yeah,
Klopp that turned him into.
they converted him. Yeah, they converted him into a 10. Yeah, I just think if you're smart enough, you can play the. I just think sometimes it's either you're good enough or you're not good enough. In the sense, and if you back yourself, I mean, Premier League is about strength and mentality as well. Let's not forget that. You need to be a very smart player. You need to be aggressive. You need to be, on it. In the sense. That's why I always said that a guy like Lewandowski would have easily came into the Premier League and butchered everyone. I remember we chose him over Van Persie. I mean, we chose Van Persie over him. And that's what even Lewandowski said to Rio. Remember in that interview, he actually said that he thought he was coming to Manchester United, and Manchester United picked. So it's not all doom and gloom, to be honest. In the sense, yes, we'll be angry because we missed out on other options. If this one fails, it's not also total doom and gloom, because you can still sell this player. This player will still have somewhat of a market value because of his age, and he'll always have suitors. I've always noticed one thing. Players from the Bundesliga are always wanted by Bundesliga teams back, even if they fail. You look at Sancho now, Dortmund are coming in for him as well, back. They want him back. So even with Højlund now, apparently Inter Milan is also wants him. So Italian and La Liga, in the sense, I mean, and Bundesliga, like, the players are always going to be required, like someone's going to want them back in that league. If they did well when they were there, they'll always have a market to return to. So I think they're also looking at it from that direction, that even if this fails, it's not, it's not all set in stone and say, we're in deep trouble now, we can't offload this player, we can't do that, we can't do this. Whereas with an older player, the problem is with the Watkins and these other guys, he let's say second season, he does well in his first season. Second season, he picks up a lot of injuries, and maybe something goes down and happens. He's at the wrong side of his age. He won't have too many suitors, because people firstly complain about the high wages, and as we're experiencing the problem right now with the high earners, we can't get rid of any of them because of that, because of the high of the age. I mean, Chelsea can still offload players because of the age. The age number is very down. That's why they're able to sell players. We forget that it's the most simple things that actually determine whether you're able to sell someone or not be able to sell someone in the transfer market. Ages will always be appealing to any of the suitors, because football is all about that. It's all about what can we get from a player? How many years can we get from a specific individual? So for me, I look at it as a risk, but it's a risk worth taking because you can get out of it if should a problem arise or anything in between. So, but like we say, we all had our first choices, second, third, fifth, whatever. The one that remains now, unfortunately, it's the one that we have right now. And I honestly, it's better than nothing. You know, if you're telling me that we're not going to sign anyone up until this point, I would have kept whoever we had right now, and rather just
Let me
maybe
ask you
try
this
to convert
question.
someone.
Would you go and
Yeah.
get that money? Would you spend that money on Beleba in midfield? Yes or no? That's 65 million plus.
Baleba is gonna be 100. You're dealing with Brighton here. Brighton don't sell for
Yeah,
cheap.
he's only
see,
played 1 year. 1 year really. He's not played 2 years. So they can't get
how much? Casado, how much did Casado go for?
Casado won, but Casado was there for 2 years. He played for 2 years. Baleba's only really
but
played 1 season. That was last season.
this is Brighton we're talking about, to be honest. If they know we're desperate, they're gonna
Yeah.
play the game, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, big up Jarvis for joining us. Let me just get into this comment. Mainu says, so this is what I mean. So you're happy with Ekatike? Yes, because I think Ekatike is technically superior than Sesko. But want to pull all the excuses for Sesko from German league. It's the same league you criticize, man. Yes, I'm talking about the individual skills of a player. If Manchester United, I didn't think Manchester United were going to go for Sesko. So I was just like, yeah, no problem. I don't want Manchester United to want Sesko because I actually don't believe he's improved. 2.5 years ago, I was shouting from the rooftops about this kid. I don't have anything against him. I just feel when I watched him in the Champions League, I don't think he's progressed. I really don't think he's progressed. But Ekatike's close control and skill is way better. Way better. I am actually the type of person, I want you to clip this, and when I start reading about Muniz of Fulham, I think he is brilliant in the air. I think he is brilliant hold-up play. I want a facilitator for Manchester United. I want a guy who's going to occupy centre halves. And I think the only reason why he doesn't play as often because he's been added many injuries, and he's 24 years old. So if Manchester United are going to spend this amount of money, I'm like, spend some of the money on him, proven in the Premier League, doesn't need to acclimatise, already knows what the Premier League led us at. Why are we experimenting with another kid? But if we were going to experiment, I would say Ekatike was the guy to go for because I actually like his technical abilities. He's got good technical abilities. But anyway, thank you for joining us, Jarvis. And you can get in the cheap shots on whatever you want, but I can explain my arguments. I can break it down and give you reasons. I don't just say, oh, I rate this player, or I don't like that player. I give you the reasons. I don't just come up without making things up.
Yes.
Big up, Jarvis. How you doing?
Yeah. I think you make a good point, Noradin. And when it comes to Sesko, you know, I have my doubts. I think he's a good player, but he's unproven. You know, he hasn't scored many goals in the Bundesliga, as you mentioned. You have signed who's the top scorer besides Holland, who's come to the Premier League and done well. You know, there's not that many. There's far too many Timo Werner's ish type players who have come in, who have scored 30-40 goals.
I mean,
almost
Joe
like
Linton
look at
came as a
Sancho.
striker. Joe Linton came as a striker from Bundesliga and turned into a midfielder.
Yes. But Joe
But
Linton.
my other big point is that Manchester United don't have the foundation or the developmental plan to coach him. And there is no evidence to show that Amorim is the type of guy that's going to seriously coach this kid. There isn't. The evidence is not there. In all those 3 metrics, do we have the foundation and stability? No. Do we have a developmental plan when we get young players? Do we just hang them to dry? Yes, that's the evidence. Do I believe Ruben Amorim can coach the hell out of a young striker? I've not seen it. I can't see it. But I'm happy to be proven wrong. If he comes, I will support him like every other Manchester United player. But I'm telling you, we're experimenting again. But go ahead, Jarvis.
Yeah, I just wanted to say when it comes to this, a counter argument would be the sum total of our attacking trio is better this season, even if we sign Sesko, who's 22, or keep Højlund, who's 22, because we have added Cunha and Mbumo. So the sum total compared to last season or the season before, the season before we had Rashford and Anthony, and last season we had Ahmad and Garnacho as the wings. So the sum total of experience is so much higher this season. So I'm almost at the place where I think even keeping Højlund could work in a way. Not that he will set the Premier League on fire, but he will most definitely score 10 to 12 goals next season with these two guys. And maybe it's sufficient, if we can't get our first choice. Let's say our first choice was Osimhen, and second choice was Gyökeres, and Sesko is third choice, or Watkins is fourth choice. If we can't get our first or at least second choice, I would be in a place right now where I would say, fuck it, let's not sign a striker this season. Wait, I would rather strengthen midfield, sign Ederson or a left wing back, and start there. I would rather sign the first choice in midfield than signing the third or fourth choice in striker position right now, because I feel with Cunha and Mbumo, we are so much better up front. As I said, sum total of experience. So that's just where I sit at the moment. Would I sign Sesko or would I go for Watkins? I would rather sign Sesko than Watkins, just because of I see this as a project. It's not about next season. It's about 2 or 3 seasons ahead. And where would Watkins be in 3 seasons? I think it's a stopgap signing, and I think we will be pissing our money away if we pay 55 million for Watkins. I think it will be a waste of money. We did it with Casemiro. Look where it got us. We gave him a 4-year deal in a place where we shouldn't. We need to think longevity. And, for me, that's signing players like Sesko. But, if it's not the chosen one, I know that Vivel wants him, and we will try to negotiate down the price and get a deal. We will probably get Sesko to push for a move and get our way, hopefully 50 to 55 million plus some add-ons. And I think that will be a reasonable price in the current market when you look at other players. And if we can do that, I would go for Sesko, and I will just trust Cunha and Mbumo. Big up, Ben, and big up to the chat. I am Titanium, and I saw a lot of legends in the house. Solomon Jones, Ben is in we have even Matthias Cunha watching us at the moment. So good to see you. And Danny B, good to see you guys. Jamie Wayne.
I think, analysis, it's very rational, obviously, as always, Jarvis. Very, very structured and very clear and concise arguments that you made.
Thank you.
I would not be saying no to Sesko if Manchester United had a developmental plan, if they had stability, and actually there was an improvement of players. I would not be moaning about any signings we made, because I'd be like, hey guys, we can make them better. We can polish that diamond. We can polish that diamond. We can polish it. We can make these players better. But I'm sorry, the evidence has been anything but. Big up, Ben. Back from his holiday, fresher than your average, fresh from Morocco. Check him out, man like Ben. Hey, your namesake might be coming, Benjamin. Are we having a bit of that? Is your name actually Benjamin or just Ben?
Ben. It's just Ben. Just Ben.
Forget the Benjamin.
OB Ben.
Yeah, big up, guys. Hit the
Big
likes,
up.
people, and subscribe. Yep, great to be back. Had an amazing time. Went to visit Rabat and Casablanca on our last few days with the missus, and it was phenomenal, bro. The heat was beautiful. The scenery, the view, like, it was just second to none, bro. So if anyone wants to go or has any doubts about Morocco, going, like, please go and visit it. It's just beautiful. The people are they're just so polite and kind, man. And man, like, that we were at this bar, and it wasn't really like an Irish bar, but it was like one of those ones. So we went in, and there was these 3 or 4 people from Morocco, and they were like, "Oh, you Man United fan?" And I said, "Oh, yes, yes, yes." And he says, they were United fans too, and they were bigging up Mazraoui, and they says he is an absolute king. Like, he's phenomenal in the United shirt. He's been class this season. Like, he's barely got injured, and like the whole night, Nerd and Jarvis and big up Lesso, the whole night they just kept talking about how much we needed to sell and get rid of Onana and Bruno Fernandes. Man, I was like, I mean, I know about Onana. I know about
Paradise
Onana.
is walking
I,
to the best pub in Morocco.
I know about Onana, but I was shocked to hear about Bruno Fernandes. He says the people of Morocco are actually a lot of people that are United fans are actually against Bruno Fernandes. They're actually, and they hate Onana. They actually dislike what he's got brought Man United to be. Like, obviously we finished 15th last season. The previous season we finished 8th under Ten Hag. But yeah, man, like a really good time. Big up to the Moroccan people, and honestly, man, I'll definitely will be back with the missus in the future. But yeah, man, and I seen I seen the David Ornstein Bomba from Sessko. I'll be honest with you, panel and Therapy Army. I don't think I'm not particularly happy with this signing. Reason being, obviously, I would preferred Mateta. I think Mateta was the right profile for this. When it comes to, but Crystal Palace obviously are dealing with this UEFA situation, so I think with Crystal Palace, it was difficult to sell Mateta at this moment in time because SA and Gahey are still at the club and they haven't been sold yet. So I think they're just waiting. It's a patient game for them. They're just waiting to see how the UEFA situation goes. But with Sesko, man, I mean, we're in for Watkins. I would probably rather have Watkins and take the gamble. Yes, I understand he's 29 years of age, and we need to buy players who are younger in development. But Nurden, I completely agree with you, man. Like, over these last 12, 13 years, like, our developmental plan has been absolutely shocking. No wonder we're run by the Glazers and Ineos. But yet again, I can see Jarvis's point, with the whole, like, it's a project, 100%. He's way better than Hoyland, 100%. We're getting an upgrade in a way. But at the same time, man, we're still like, I just feel like we're putting far too much. Like, if we had an experienced striker, say if Hoyland wasn't there, and we had an experienced striker like a Watkins, and say Hoyland wasn't there, then I wouldn't mind about this signing because he's got Watkins to like learn off, and like, we had Ronaldo, we had Ibra, we always had at least one experienced striker and then one developmental striker to learn off. So this is where I'm at, people. And you know what? I'm taking nothing to do with the kid, Sesko. I'm not. I don't think he's as bad as people think he is. I want my striker to be very, very good in the aerial duties and to like link up the play because he has got a good touch. He's got a good first touch. Hoyland's first touch is literally it's going out towards the touchline. It's gone. It's good night Vienna. But with Sesko, that's the only thing I can really have positive of him. He's got a good shot. He's very good in the air. He can link up, but the
Yeah.
issue is Nurden. Yes, Service.
Yeah, I just wanted to add. Sorry for interrupting you. I just
Oh,
wanted
go
to
pick
add.
up, bro.
You saw the game against West Ham.
Yes.
Did you notice how we involved Rasmus Højlund in play? It's
Yeah.
always running in behind. That's his only
Correct.
trick, and that's the only thing that we also are doing because we have one player, and that's Bruno. He wants to put it in behind for runs. So basically, aerial threat and stuff like that doesn't matter as much. I think the way we play, the most important thing for a player to function in this current setup with Bruno and even Cunha is a guy who knows how to run in behind. And when you look at Gyökeres, what's his strongest trait? Because Amorim, he likes to play direct football, So when we go into attack, then we go really attacking. So quick, direct. So I think we need that's maybe why both Sesko and Watkins wouldn't function well in this team because they're not quick enough. We need a player like better than Rasmus running in behind. I don't know. It's just my take on it when you look at how we set our striker into play.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Jarvis, like, I wouldn't say, yeah, 100% agree with you with, like, they're not the quickest of strikers. Obviously Mateta as well, like, he's not a quick striker, but, you know, I don't, like, for me, if I was Amarim, I know what he did at Sporting, you know, with Gyökeres. He likes playing his strikers in behind, you know, like what Gyökeres did, and his attacking players in behind too. But I generally do think we need to move on from this, like, running in behind. Me personally, this is just my opinion. I think the striker, what's so important for the striker is the striker needs to link up with the 2 10s. And this is why I look at, the thing is with strikers back in the day, everyone always looked at goals. For me, I look at assists too, and how much he takes touches in the box. And with Sesko, that's the only negative thing I can say about Sesko. He doesn't take too many touches in the box, in the opposition's box. And that's a real concern, because we've had strikers in the past that it's been graveyard shifts, constant every match, and they don't rarely take any touches in the box. And you know, it's basically we're playing we're playing with 10 men at this rate, because we're not getting the striker into play. I think Xerxes is a perfect profile on what, like, we need, but obviously more experience. That's why I was aiming towards a Mateta, because he's 29 years of age. He can, like, link up the play well and all that sort of stuff. But you know, it's just, do you know what it is? I just don't like the fact that, yeah, obviously Jimmy Wen's just spot on there. He just said in the comments, you know, we could have easily not had any of this discussion, Nerdin and Jarvis and Lesso, and we could have easily hijacked Isak, but only if we sold Bruno Fernandes. I tell you right now, and I will say this right now, not selling Bruno Fernandes will come back to haunt us for good. It will come back to haunt us, man. Because I seen in the West Ham game, Jarvis and Nerdin and Lesso, you know, the midfield, see, when we're coming off the first phase of play, what really annoys me about this system with Amram is when the 3 centre-backs have got it, they play, okay, they play side to side, and then they hoof it long ball towards the 2 number 10s or the wing backs. That's not how we should be playing football. Out of the first phase of play, the 2 centre mids have to drop deep in between to help out the 3 centre-backs to control the tempo and control the play, so we can move on to phase 2. Phase 2, the 2 wing backs have to stay up, and the 2 mids have to stay in line, because if Bruno leaves Casemiro or Ugarte, then we're going back to Ten Hag, you know, single pivot football again, and this is why we're getting exposed. Then when we're getting into the final third, the two 10s have to stay close to obviously the center of the pitch, and the 2 wingers, the 2 wing backs, have to literally, all they got to focus on is basically take your man on and whip a few crosses into the 10s and into the number 9. And the 2 centre mids have just got to be so defensive minded, but also to join up with the final third. We've got to do that, man, because this is how Liverpool play their football. This is how Arsenal play. You never see in football, you know, 3 people. Obviously, most teams played 4-3-3. That's my go-to formation. But you never see open gaps in these midfields. That's why I love a 3 in the midfield instead of a 2 in midfield. And this is the issue. I think the midfield is the most important thing for this transfer market. If we don't get a midfielder in, people said in Twitter, Nerd, I don't know if you've seen it, where would this Man United team finish? And I seen a few people saying 6th and 5th. And I laugh so hard, because if we get Sessko
come up to it, Ben. Luke Shaw thinks we're challenging for the league.
I seen that. He should be going down to get a Big Mac in McDonald's. But no, back to the thing, man. I'm being serious, man. Like, you know, you win football matches. Man. I know you win football matches in the midfield, right? The thing is with this midfield, you need, like, I watched Mandem talk earlier. Big up to Saeed. We need defensively, like, minded midfielders in that too. We have to have defensively minded but can control the tempo, can control that midfield, can control the play. But, you know, for example, Matic, Nemanja Matic, just why people got really pissed me off, that why Matic got so much hate. But Matic was doing the right thing, what Man United were doing. He was controlling that midfield, hence why we rarely lost midfield battles in with, although I didn't rate him, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, big up to Ole. But this is why we need, midfielders in this system, man. I just don't trust Ugarte, Casemiro, Collier. Like, I just don't trust even Bruno Fernandes, man. It's painful that I see Bruno Fernandes at my club, man. I just can't stand him, man. I just can't stand him. I've said it, man. But big up anyways, people. Smash the likes, but welcome Sesko to Man United if it's gonna be happening. And I wish you all the best, bro. I hope he can, I'm not too annoyed about the signing, but I'm slightly disappointed. Obviously, I wanted Mateta.
Okay, let's have a look at his Benjamin Sesko. This worries me. There's a couple of things that worry me about his stats. Touches in the penalty area.
Facts. That's the one I was on
That's
about.
the worry. But saying that, I think this season for Leipzig, he's playing out wide, left hand on the right hand side. He's been coming in. But yeah, this is his stats. This is what you see, people. Shot creating actions really low for a guy who's supposed to be our striker, solving all our problems. But yeah, this is who he is, and these are the players that he's compared to. But it must be said, he's good ball carrier. And one thing about Amarin's system, you need the ball carrying and the take-ons. You need to be able to eliminate your players. Cunha is good at it, and Bermo's good at it. So maybe this is one of the reasons why we're going on, because he can carry the ball up the pitch. But yeah, some things are worrying for me. But yeah, I said he's not bad. He's decent passer of the ball. Yeah, progressive passes. All these things need to be improved. All these things need to be improved. I don't know what you think, Jarvis, but yeah, I'm not inspired by the kid. I'm not gonna lie. I'm genuinely not going to lie. I'm not inspired by the kid because I was raving about him 2 years ago. 2 and a bit years ago, I was talking a lot about him, saying, because at that time, I saw things that he was doing on the football pitch that I've not seen people of his age group do that. He was just about 20, 19 and something he was. And I was like, wow, tall guy, he's got the strength, can hold, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, not improved. But let me just go back to the community poll. I've asked people, do you rate him? Actually, it was the other way around. So now, wow, more than 61% of you said you rate him, 39% of you said But this poll, to begin with, about 25 minutes ago, half an hour, was the other way around. It was about 56% saying no, 44% saying yes. So yeah, looks like we're losing the poll. Big up. But I don't know. There's nothing that I see in his game to think that this is what he's going to do. And I think you broke it down perfectly. We saw Rasmus actually running the channels, running the different sides of the football pitch. But again, Jarvis, he was falling, he was fucking on his feet. He was eating grass again. I'm just like, what the fuck? Why can't you stay on your feet? Is there actual problem with him physically? Is there a problem with his feet? People, we're not even 100 likes yet. Shame on you. Shame on you, man. Channel is shadow banned, and we're not even 100 likes yet. We've been live for an hour. But yeah, go ahead, Jarvis.
Yeah, Sesko, the stats is something, but I find it hard to read Sesko's stats because he played a lot of times, as you said, as a forward, not as a striker, central striker. So I want to go deeper into the stats before I give my verdict on Sesko. I try to break him down, but I find it hard because he's in the half spaces all the time. But I've seen him play for Slovenia when he actually plays as a striker, and he looks decent when he plays for his national team. So, and I know if Vivel, he's highly experienced when it comes to this, and he recommends Sesko. That's his guy. But what? One thing that people haven't talked about is where is Amorim in all of this? We talk about, we know, or we don't know, but we can assume that Cunha and Mbumo is Wilcox's signings, and Sesko will be Vivel's signing. Is Amorim just sitting there and get players assigned to him, or is he even involved in all of this? Because I don't feel like we are bringing in Amorim's players. I know it's a different subject, but I don't know, guys. What do you feel? And are
No,
they
it's
are they
price.
are they
That's the
pulling the
conversation.
emergency brake on Amorim just to sign players, overall players, so we know we have something to fall back on if everything goes wrong and Amorim gets sacked, let's say Christmas?
Jarvis, he is saying he's happy with the plan. Everything that's coming out from him, he's happy. He understands the difficult situation the club is in. He's saying he's happy. He's saying he's happy, Jarvis. So I don't know but we do know that from his own mouth, Jarvis, you asked the question. He said he's involved in all the conversations and that the club will not want to sign a player without him agreeing to it. And he did say in the last press conference before the game against West Ham, he did say, that Wilcox persuaded him, or Wilcox, convinced him of the signing of Cunha. So at the end of the day, where it is. Mbemo has been on record saying that he spoke to him. He has spoken to
Amorim.
Yeah. And he thinks he's the guy. Like, he's the guy, and Mbemo was like, yeah, the project was sold to him. That's what he said in the interview recently. I think it might have been with Rio Ferdinand, who, by the way, we told you works for the football club. We told you works for the football club. Who was the only channel to tell you never to believe or trust anything Rio Ferdinand says? Who told you to not trust any of these players? Yeah, Rio Ferdinand's now working officially with the football club.
Facts.
He's doing, him and Rooney are promoting. How tragic it must be to be the current player. I don't know if I told you in the last stream, but literally Wayne Rooney and Rio Ferdinand, the club flew them both out to New Jersey, I think it was, and to promote the new kit. Wayne Rooney and Rio Ferdinand with a new kit. How desperate is that?
Yeah.
And by the way, if you look back at some of the tours, if you saw any clips on Twitter about the tour, the queues for Manchester United fans for United players in the hotel, in the training ground, it would be huge. Now, a friend of mine who happens to be in the US, he was in New Jersey. He says to me, Nuruddin, there weren't even that many kids waiting for the coach before the game. It's crazy. It's crazy. The stock has fallen. In terms of the fanfare around Manchester United, Jarvis, you remember how crazy it used to be? So much security, fans screaming every time you seen the preseason, fans going crazy. None of that. None of that. None of those things are happening. Yeah. You go. He said Rasmus Højlund is a dream target for IP Leipzig. Manchester showing Leipzig the opportunity to include a player in the deal. That's crazy. I actually think he would do better. I agree with Jarvis. I actually think the next striker has to complement Cunha and Mbemo. I genuinely do think that. And I think they have to work as an attacking unit. And I don't care whoever scores the most goals. I don't care, and it should not be. It should be whoever's in a better position should get the ball. Yeah. They should play as a unit. But in terms of Wilcox, Jarvis, every signing that has been made, Wilcox is the guy who's signing it. So don't worry.
I feel it.
When they don't do things next year, nobody's going to blame Amorim. To me, I'm not going to blame Amorim because I know that he's not being backed. That's why Gyökeres, regardless what I think about Gyökeres, Coenda went to Chelsea. He hasn't got any players that he wanted. And
but in defense of Wilcox, I have to say, this is what we have been screaming for as a professional club. This is how a football club should operate. It's not the manager who are going to sit there and pick all his favorite players. It's the club with the long-term vision. We can sack the manager now and bring in another one and still be suited. We don't have to go through another kind of rebuild, signing 10, 15 players. So in a way, I feel more secure when we are doing it like this. The only question is, can we trust Wilcox? Can we trust Berada? Can we trust Vivel? Well, time will show, but their signings last summer was decent. We signed Euro, we signed the Xerxes, the Ligt. So I think we signed decent players last season. And by the way, speaking of Xerxes, I don't know if you saw his comments. Yes, or was it this day? The early this day, there were some comments, and I think I found a new favorite player when it comes to Josh Xerxes, because this is what he brought up. He said, Josh Xerxes, if another striker were to come, I guess it's only good competition. So I'm really not worried. Everything is for the team. There is no selfishness here. That's not my mantra. If I'm here to help the team, then great. I'm not just here to decide what's fair and unfair. I just know that me and Rasmus can do better and have to do better. That's all I can say. So I love a comment like this. It takes responsibility and he talks about the team. It's not about him. And I think he understands it. He understands the mindset, how to be a winning football club. It's not about me. We have had enough players like Garnacho, like Rashford, like Anthony, like people who want to do. The only player we have left now is Mr. Abona himself, Bruno Fernandes. After last game. So I really love this attitude. This is strong words from a player like Xerxes.
Yeah, he looks like he's somebody who knows him, and I actually rate him as a footballer. I think me and you, Jarvis, talked about specifically and broke down how him asking for the ball made us look better. But then Amarim dropped him after the international break during March. And then the team looks horrendous after that.
Yeah. But this is the mentality we want from our players.
Yeah.
It's not about me, it's about the team.
No ego.
Competition, I don't care. If the team does better, it's good. I will just buckle down and do my job better. That's what all I want. That's all I want from a player. Yeah. So for me, Xerxes now is almost my favorite player, but just because of his mentality.
Well, he's got to back up the talk. He's got to back it up.
Yeah, obviously.
He has to back it up. You know what I'm saying? That talk is cheap, but 100%. There's no ego. There's no me. There's none of that. People, we're not even got 100 likes and we're live for 13. I mean, I just can't. I'm not gonna tell you. I wanted to bring up the second part of the show, and I wanted to get your 2 pence on it. Luke Shaw has been speaking. I really want to show you guys because I want to show the hypocrisy of Luke Shaw. And Luke Shaw should just fucking concentrate on staying fit for a season. How about that, Luke Shaw? How about Luke Shaw? So Luke Shaw said, we quote, let me get the quote, big up to Luke Shaw, here we go. So Luke Shaw said, I feel like I let Erik ten Hag down because I wasn't there for him towards the end. That wasn't nice for the last season. I felt like a lot of people in the club. I feel like I let a lot of people down in the club. No, fuck the fucking club. You let the fans down, you dickhead. I found it really hard to put a lot of blame on myself. Well, why were you playing for England then? Why were you fit? How come you were fit to play for England in finals, but you didn't go and did not join with England and went to England when you were injured? So what is what Luke Shaw says here? Luke Shaw, I really like this formation. I've spoken to him about it too much with the manager, but I'm happy to play anywhere. So he's talking about the places where he plays. I've been playing left centre back pre-season. I want to see if he carries. There's another bit where he's talking about where he basically says there's no struggle. So he said he likes the way Amarim is, and he said there are no strugglers. The team is about the team. Everything's about the team. There's no egos anymore, and I'm happy about that. So I'm here to prove to you lot that Luke Shaw is chatting absolute shit, because Luke Shaw said exactly the same thing. So I'm going to show you here now. Luke Shaw gave an interview and said exactly the same thing about Erik ten Hag. Can you see that, people? Let me just show you. Let me add this to the show. Luke Shaw explained how Eric Ten Hag is improving standards at Manchester United. I mean, the PR from the club to put him up to this. So he's come out and said that. Like, literally, everybody's tagging him, you know. You know what I mean? He's come out and said there are no stragglers. This is the best form of it. Here's what he said. That's what he said here. I'll just read it to you now. He says, I think the mentality he demands show that he's the right man. He's extremely tough on the group. He leaves no stone unturned. And I think there are no stragglers in this group anymore. I think everyone, wow, shots at Rashford, Garnacho, Sancho, all of them. Malacia, Anthony, throwing them all under the bus. I think everyone has to put the team first. He's made that clear, very clear. I think he's picking players on how he feels will be the best for the team, and that's his choice. We are fully behind him and fully behind his ideas and what he wants to implement in this team. We feel like a real team, especially in this preseason.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to go less so, and then we'll go around. Talk to me. How are we feeling about Luke Shaw? And Luke Shaw saying these things.
Man, that guy should have been gone, to be honest. You know, I don't know why he's still here to begin with. You know, we shouldn't even be mentioning Luke Shaw. But all in all, this just shows the hypocrisy. You know, there's a lot of PR in play. You can see that clearly. These guys say whatever they are told to say. You know, and Luke Shaw is just saving his own skin in a sense because he doesn't want to get himself out of the team. So he has to play this whole PR thing as well to his advantage because he knows he doesn't deserve to be here. Let's be honest. It's the ones that talk the most that know that they shouldn't be here to begin with. And they're trying to get, obviously, you know, they're trying to earn their favors, obviously, from above to stay here longer. So, yeah, it's a whole lot of BS, honestly. I didn't even bother. When I saw the headline, I was like, oh, no, not this again. You know, I didn't even bother actually, you know, reading up the whole thing. I just saw the headline and that was it for me, you know. And I think that's how we should be looking at Manchester United. You know, we shouldn't take anything these guys say, you know, as like the holy grail or some sort of thing. So, yeah, it's a bunch of BS. This guy's to even think that this guy qualifies for a testimony, you know, it's disgusting in a way. Anyways. You know, and that's how far, you know, he talks about standards. He's one of the, you know, he's a direct opposite of what standards are, because if we had standards, he wouldn't be here himself, you know, and that's the funny thing about this. So that's why I always say, and I will always say that this club, it's all about PR, it's all about BS, it's all about, you know, revisionist, you know, they'll say this under every manager. If some of them survive, obviously after Amorim is gone, if some of them survive, they'll come back and say the next manager, oh, there's no stragglers in the team with the next manager. There's none of this. We're in this together, and then they go on and finish 17th. You know, so I'm like I say, talk is cheap. You know, and we will only see what you guys do on the pitch, and that's it for me.
Yeah, big up. Go ahead, Ben. Luke Shaw, your favorite player?
Bro, we need to keep this player. I think he's one of the best center backs in the world. Oh man, you know what? Seeing Luke Shaw's like video interview, like about we can win the Premier League, it actually made me very tired, man. You know, I was home last night from a late flight, and seeing the next morning Luke Shaw say we can win the Premier League, man. Oh man, this man's literally a comedian. Like, you know, he should have been the first person in this Man United squad that should have been out the door. It's fucking embarrassing how he's still this football club, man. And for him to talk about, you know, there's no more Anthony, Sancho, Rashford, like, you know, he's calling out all these players. He should have been with them. He should have gone with them. And I know, look, when Luke Shaw talks in interviews, people think he's actually a sound lad. Like, he probably is a sound bloke, like, but like, the fact he's on £200,000 a week, a contract, and he's been here for I don't know how long, and he's lived off that wage. He's probably went to McDonald's more than he's played or went to Carrington. I'm being serious. People,
I don't think he's played more than 200 games. I'm not mistaken. I don't think he's even played 250 games for United in 11 years.
Yeah, like I said, man.
And like I said, Ben, I excuse the first three. The first three seasons because of the bad break of his leg.
Facts, yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And like I said, man, like, if the only option to do for the club would have been if the club said, right, look, we're taking you a wage cut, then I would have said, right, good job, Man United. Give him like 50k, 40k, 30k a week. Like, he probably should have earned £10,000 a week. He should never be earning 200k a week. But this is Man United. This is Manchester United. But nah, man, like, he shouldn't be here. He's one of the main reasons why we're in this fucking mess. Like, it's fucking embarrassing. We can't sell him. And yeah, man, like, it was just too funny. Even my missus, who, like, she loves Man United, but she doesn't, like, she's not really as big a Man United fan as me. And she even says, hasn't that guy been here for so long? And I said, he's been here since I was like 16, 17 years of age. And she says, oh yeah, he's the only guy I recognize in the squad, and she knows Rashford as well, and that's even bad as well when your missus, who doesn't really know much like about Man United, when she says that Luke Shaw, she recognizes Luke Shaw. It's fucking embarrassing, man. It just says it all, bro. It says it all. If Jason Wilcox and Sir Jim were serious owners, they would have done exactly what Chelsea did. Look, goodbye, mate. That's you. We'll buy your contract. Bye-bye. That's it. But big up.
There you go, Ben. Big up to you. Jarvis, Luke Shaw, singing his praises. By the way, big up to Khalees from Medina, Chief Editor, United Real Therapy.
Big up, policeman.
These are fresh quotes from Sessko. Sessko saying on his injury, it's not that serious, Paul. I just want to be ready for the start of the season.
Good.
Someone who has really motivated me is Leacher. Seeing how he prepares mentally and the way he works to get back to his best form is something I'm grateful for. It's part of life. I'm thankful to have teammates around me to help me overcome these obstacles. Jarvis says favorite player. Jarvis is gonna Jarvis favorite player is Sessko. Jarvis, anything to say about him?
Luke Shaw. Yeah, Luke Shaw, I've talked about Luke Shaw so many times, I don't want to repeat myself. I think he should have been gone many years ago. But, the Glazenomics, we keep giving him a new contract every third year. And now he will stay with the club until 2027. He's on high wages. He have done nothing. I saw someone in the chat said he played 192 games or something during this 11 years. So yes, it's a waste of money, and it takes up a place in the squad. I think we are at a place where we should probably just put our bets on Fredrickson and Heaven. I think they are much better suited for left wide centre back, and I think this is where we stand. Luke Shaw can't be trusted, but then again, speaking the devil's advocate, I think he looks fit. He looks sharp. If he can stay injury-free, he will probably be an asset for us next season. He has experience. I think we are a young team, and I think we need the experience of players like him. But can he be trusted? I don't think so. But, I give it like 5 to 10%, a slim chance. But he can stay injury-free next season. And then, yeah, it will be good to have Luke Shaw in the squad. But if possible, move him on as quick as possible. But I'm not at a stage anymore where I feel that we should just cancel his contract, because I think we don't have the money, and I think it will be counterproductive in a lot of ways, as long as he can stay fit and we can use him like an impact defender just to secure the win last 10-15 minutes. He can come in and do a job as long as he can stay fit. But as a starter, no, I wouldn't risk it. It will be too fragile in my words. But yeah.
he talks so much. Big up to Peter. Says Luke has no business talking about strugglers. He's the king of strugglers. He hit from the highest, nowhere to be seen when he goes down. He was the type of guy with Maguire said they love playing for England more than they love playing for Manchester United. They're both on record, like saying they're happier when they get to England. And he's the guy actually who made sure he did kick a ball for Manchester United but went to England so that he could play in the semi-final and the final. So at the end of the day, yeah, he's the biggest struggler.
And what time is it next summer?
Contract time.
It's World Cup time. World Cup time. Yes. So he will sure be fit.
Yeah. It's either contract renewal, he wants a bit of more money, or World Cup,
That comment is class, by the way.
Palpatine. Disney. Well. By the way, Noradin, did you see the latest report on Center Devils? It's about the bomb squad. Apparently, that Sancho, Garnacho, Anthony Malacia, and Rashford used to be one of them. This is the latest on the bomb squad. I'm just bringing it up here for you guys to see. Exclusive. Have been told Man United's bomb squad are set to be moved down to the under-21s dressing room if they can't be sold for the rest of the summer once the first team returns from the tour. That's from Solid Talks. You know, it's not the strongest source, but you know, it tells you something about the club. And I'm just curious in hearing your guys' take on it. Is it the right move if you can't sell them on to just move them down to the under-21s, or should we just try to get the best out of Sancho, Garnacho, Anthony, and Malacia? This is for you, Noradin. What's your take?
Yeah, I saw a report saying, actually, it was from Amarin. So it was another, lots of journalists are out there at the moment, during the training sessions, and they tried to catch a quote from Amarin, and he basically said they will be integrated back into the team. So it's interesting. The different. Let me see if I can find it, Jarvis. Let me see if I can find it.
I think I know what you're talking. I also read the same thing. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a negotiation tactics, because obviously we basically, by isolating them with what you do, then you downgrade their value. You basically lessen their value, and that's why Gittins can go for 55 million, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if the euros or pounds too. And Chelsea have tried to offer us 40 million for Garnacho. Like, it's crazy. So at the end of the day, I think if you're going to make an example of them, if you're going to make an example of certain players, yes. But I think the best thing you should be doing is doing everything, working with the agent to try to move them on, even if it means loaning them out. I don't see anywhere where it's productive, Jarvis, keeping season pros in the under 21 changing room. I actually think it doesn't suit anybody, because at the end of the day, Manchester United need to go and get fees for these players.
But there are some working laws in the UK, so they have to stay occupied, and
100%
engaged. So we can. The only option is to move them down to the under 21s or the under 18s. We can't just not let them train.
We have to let them train, because that's part of the contract. Footballers have to train, but I actually will not. That would be a side distraction, because every press conference you're going to be asked about. Amarin is already under pressure as it is. He's going to be asked loads about this and that, what's happening. Are they going to go on loan in January? Why don't you use them? Let's say we get a couple of injuries. God forbid. Touch wood. We get a couple of injuries. Why are you not using them? But you're paying them their wages. That's going to be the type of questions they're going to be asked.
Yeah.
So I actually genuinely do think we should move them on. I really think that. I think find them loans. It's World Cup year. There are teams that are going to be desperate towards the end of the transfer window, and it might even come down to the last couple of hours to get them out. I don't know why, other than you don't rate him, I don't know why. I've never had any problems with Malacia. Nobody's ever told us that there's a problem. He's a problem causer, Malacia. Other than that, he was friends with Rashford. Guilty by association. So other than that, I don't know what that he did, and even Anthony, to be fair. Other than that, obviously he was involved in all those different type of things. Garnacho, yeah, apparently there's a clear falling out with Garnacho with the coach.
Well, Nordin, there's obviously a player power thing struggle going on,
Yeah.
because I think the players are in a position where they feel that they can dictate where they want to go, not where Man United want to sell them to the highest bidder. Garnacho he's been relentlessly saying, I want a Premier League, and he wants a move to a Champions League club in a way. So we know it's Chelsea, you know, or perhaps Aston Villa. Same with Rashford. He was consistent. I want Barcelona. That's everything I want, nothing else. Same with Anthony. I want to go to Betis, nothing else. Betis is my club, you know. And I think we need to put an end to player power and not let them dictate how we are going to sell players in this market, and you know, put the pressure on them. You know, as a player like Anthony, he wants to play football. Obviously, it's a World Cup year. He's a good player. He did well in Real Betis. But, you know, when it comes to a point, if Betis can't cough up the dough, should we sell him for 15 million euros or something stupid like that when we can sell him for 50 to Saudi? You know, we need to put some pressure on these players and get the money in. That's our job at the moment. We have to stay focused on Man United. And it's not about Anthony's best. It's about Man United's best. So in a way, that's how I feel.
No, I think there's clarity to a lot of the points that you have made. But I genuinely do not think it's in the best interest to be driving down somebody's to begin with. I would not. You keep things in-house and you let them know in no uncertain terms, their agents and them, about that. And you say, no, we're going to do what we're going to, but you don't come that because you don't want to drive down their prices. But go ahead, Lesso, and then we go to Ben. What do you think, Lesso? So Jarvis's question about should they on the 21s?
Yeah, I think that's the best way to set precedents. You know, if you don't do this now, then the players that are currently on our books right now, and those that are gonna be on our books, they'll virtually also think they'll take this route where, you know, they'll think that they're in charge in a sense. You know, you need to set this precedents. I mean, at Chelsea, they know any player that joins Chelsea, they know that you're gonna go wherever the club wants you to go, as long as, you know, they pay them a significant amount that they want, you know. And with us, it's the direct opposite, because the players think now they have more power, and, you know, they can predetermine already that they're not going to leave somewhere else because this club is not paying them the same wages or whatsoever. So United need to set some sort of standards, and they need to keep by that and stay by that, you know. And, you know, and in this sense, you know, it's by sending them to the under-21s. It's very embarrassing, by the way. These players may act like, you know, they don't care, but at the end of the day, your brand does take a knock if they see you in that under-21 dressing room, you know, and all these other things. It really does kind of, you know, destroy your reputation to some extent, because there's no football club that's gonna look at you the same. You know, you're not gonna be able to negotiate better deals as well. You know, even as an agent would even tell the player, don't do it, because it's gonna hurt you. Anyways, financially in the long run, it's gonna hurt you, because your brand is everything, you know, and how others perceive you is basically, you know, that's your career in a way. Your own brand at the end of the day. And football clubs don't want to deal with problem makers. You know, no one wants anyone on their books who's gonna cause them these type of problems. So that's why I think United should be throwing them in the under-21. You know, they should be sharing the dressing room with the young players and humble themselves, you know, and realize that they're not the ones in control in the sense. So yeah.
Sorry, it's a good point. Ben, do you have anything to add when it comes to the bomb squad and what to do with them?
Yeah, I want to first things first. Big up to Amram for doing that to leave Rashford and Garnacho, Antony, and Malacia to the under-21s. I think what Amram's doing is spot on in his position, because he doesn't want them. He's told the club he doesn't want them. He wants them sold, and I think it's very important. You hit on it, Jarvis, as well. Big up to you. that the club have to be in control when we're dealing with outgoings. Like I feel like with McTominay last year, I think even though I didn't rate him, I think we sold him too cheap. It was 20, I think it was 25 million pounds. I think we could have easily got McTominay for another 10 million, maybe 35, 40. And this is where we're at, people. I think McTominay, the season he had, even though he wasn't great, but he scored a lot of goals. We could have easily got 35 million pounds, 40 million pounds, because at the end of the day, the Premier League's the best league in the world. With Anthony, I think Jason Wilcox has got to be going to any club that are interested in Anthony. Look, Anthony's had an amazing season with Real Betis. They got him to a European final, and he scored so many goals, got so many assists. It was a different Anthony we were seeing over La Liga, and I would be demanding at least 50 to 60 million at least for Anthony. And this is very important for us because if we sell these players, not only it just gives money for transfers, but according to Jim, he says, it helps as well for himself and also for the club, shall we say? But we're not getting into that because obviously that's another stream, the Glazer Novick stream. But anyways, with Sancho, I think Sancho, it's very important that we loan Sancho. I don't think we're going to sell Sancho. I think with Sancho, we have to maybe try and encourage Dortmund to do another loan and see if Sancho could go on a spell again with Dortmund. And then with Malacia, I same again, loan. I just can't see Malacia improving on at Man United. It's such a shame because I actually really like Malacia at the very start under Ten Hag. I remember he locked up Salah that game. He was phenomenal that game. But I just can't see him working this system. So I think that we should loan him. And then with Garnacho, now this is the big one. Garnacho, this is the signing we have to be. Garnacho and Anthony is the signings we have to be in control of all the clubs because we've always let them be in control because we panic too much when it comes to outgoings. We have to say 50 or 60 million for both of them. If you don't want to pay them, and it comes to the end of the window, I agree with Nurden. Just loan them out. There's no way we should be keeping any. Probably Anthony. Anthony probably the only one I'd keep because he's played so well, recently, and he actually probably will play well on the right wing back with Ahmad and maybe Mbumo. But we just loan them out. It gets rid of the toxic environment in the dressing room. The guys don't need it. The youngsters don't need it, and you just move on. And next season, I hope Rashford has a good season at Barca. I hope Sancho has a good season wherever he goes. And if they all have good seasons, then it means we actually might get a bit of money from all of them. There's just no way that we should be selling players. I think Sancho's contract runs out next year. Sancho's got to have a good season next season because if we sell Sancho for free, it's embarrassing from the club because we've signed him for £72 million. There's just no way. It's got to work, man. We've got to work. We cannot be keeping these players, man, because it not only it's bad for the players, the first team, because they're not part of it, but it's bad for themselves too, and the club, for us, going forward. Yeah. We need it, man.
But it says something when you have players like this, caliber of even Rashford, if you count him in, and Garnacho, up and coming young talent. We have Anthony, who did really well for Betis. Malacia, that's something different. But when it comes to all of these players, and Sancho with his pedigree, when it comes to the Bundesliga and everything he did for Dortmund, why should it be so hard selling players with this kind of pedigree? It shouldn't. But it tells you a lot about, in the footballing world, their attitude goes a long way. And I think a lot of clubs are afraid. They stay clear of players like that. They don't want that in the current. Everything now is about being homogenetic. What is it called? As a club, you don't want to. Yeah. You want to keep everything in house. You want to keep everybody happy. Yeah. Everybody has a role in the team. You look at even teams like PSG. They changed their course from Galacticos to a well-functioning team, and this is what's on the.
But Jarvis, but those football clubs have processes and procedures in place to discipline players. Manchester United do not. So for me, the way the the way the players have behaved is an indictment of the way the club is. It's toxic to the core. I find it very difficult to blame solely just on the players.
No, it's almost like a saying. We have a saying in Norway. It's not a bad dog. It's a bad owner in a way. If you understand, I'm not comparing but you know, it's about how you are brought up and how well you're raised. And Man United, we are letting them off with the shenanigans. That's the problem.
Because the player power that was to keep the stock shares up. You know what I mean? That the 30% of stock shares, we keep that up because then we give the big wages, because then the value of the player, the value of the products, because that's how they treat the players. They're like the products, aren't they? Players are assets, aren't they? They're an asset, right? They're not.
They are. That's Casenomics.
This is the reason why, and that's that emboldens where nobody's about winning. It was only about finishing the Champions League places, and that's all it was. And a couple of years they're out. 1 year we're back in. And that was it until we got caught, till everybody around us has improved. Everybody. And we keep sacking managers. So at the end of the day, I solely don't blame the players, because I don't see the same players behaving like that in other football clubs. Because in those football clubs, the culture is totally different. The expectations, players are reminded of their responsibilities every single day, what they're here for, who they're here for. And people who own those football clubs set the standards. You see now what's happening with Nottingham Forest. The owner, you know, he was gone. You know, both Ornstein and Fabrizio were like, here we go. Here we go. You know, Morgan Gibbs-White is the first player.
Yeah.
The owner was like, no. Reminded him who he is. You're just a footballer, mate. This is what I'm going to pay you. This is what Spurs would have paid you. Sign on that dotted line. Or you're going to rot in the reserves because you've got 3-year contract. It's the culture you set.
Is he the same owner that came on the pitch almost starting a fight with one of the players? And yeah. Okay.
Whatever the fuck you want about him, Jarvis. He wants to win. Give me that. Then give me those fucking donkeys in the US.
100%.
And this donkey who's telling players, all I do is before I run a marathon, we don't need all these physios. All I do is just stretch before I run a marathon.
So
what
Jim,
the fuck does that tell you about? And did you know that both in the busiest transfer window, like of the most important window, both Wilcox and Omar Barad had to go and see him and do fishing with him in Iceland? What the fuck is this?
you need to figure out the chemistry again with the chemistry. And you have to stretch a little bit, you know. It's ladies and gentlemen. So Jim Ratcliffe, that's how it is, you know. It's a joke, but you know, he's not calling the shots. It's the Glazers. Joe Glazer is the guy with the bag of cash, the power, the majority voting right when it comes to everything in the club. So we got to be aware of that and not just blame Sir Jim Ratcliffe.
No, but he put himself in the firing line, Jarvis. He said they're in charge of the football operations. But what they don't tell you though is that Joe Glazer is he's in it alongside him in the hierarchy of the football structure. So he put himself in the firing line with his best in class nonsense. And I 100% believe, coming back to now before we wrap up, coming back to the I want to give the vote.
The bomb squad.
I want to give what the vote was. So big up to everybody who's voted. There are more people who voted than more people who liked the video. And at the moment in time, do you rate Sesko? 61% of them said yes. 39% are saying no. So, and that's nearly 170 people have voted. And we've only got 110 likes on the video. What does that tell you? People don't want to like the video. But I come back to it. I really think it is a panic buy. I really think that. And I think, Jarvis, you're spot on. It wasn't Manchester United. Delac was the first choice. Gyökeres, Osimhen, Ekatike we were linked with a certain time. All these guys, he was the 6th or the 7th choice. And unfortunately, that's what's happening. That's who we're getting. And I wouldn't do it. I genuinely wouldn't do it. Let me just get this super chat. Big up before we leave. I can't even see the super chat. I don't know what's happened with the super chat. Super chat disappeared. I can't see.
No, it's here. It's Mumsy. This one.
Yeah. Big up Mumsy. Mumsy said every year GTA games release, Manchester United win the league. GTA 6 is releasing in 20. We'll make it 21st. Lol. Well, you support Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw has literally come out, and I want to ask you guys. Luke Shaw has said United are challenging for the league. Do you believe him? Quickly, I go to Lesso.
Yeah, no, we're not. That's why I say that this guy is literally, you know, he's feeding, you know, he's trying to feed himself, you know, at this point, you know, he's fighting for his wages, and he'll say whatever that comes to mind, you know, whatever it takes to stay for another 2 years or 3 years. I wouldn't be surprised they just extend his contract just after these statements. But big up to everyone.
Big up, Lesso. Big up.
Let me actually show you. Let me show you. I love it. Somebody put,
you know, finding ways of all being able to play together and, you know, release, you know, the potential that, you know, I know.
That. Do you think these current set of players are capable of winning the Premier League?
In my opinion, yeah.
That. Do you think these current set of players are capable?
Crank it up.
The Premier League?
In my opinion, yeah. You know, you look at our squad, we do have such a good squad.
Can you guys hear him?
It's a little low, but if you can turn it up just a notch, will be.
It's a wee notch.
I'm just trying to turn it up, but the function is not that great because somebody's dubbed it, put claps, you know, audience claps on top of it. So basically, he gets asked, the premise that he gets asked, can Manchester United win the Premier League? And he basically says yes. So let me take it back.
Do you think these current set of players are capable of winning the Premier League?
In my opinion, yeah. You know, you look at our squad, we do have such a good squad. I think it's just about unlocking, you know, the potential that we have and, you know, finding ways of all being able to play together and, you know, release, you know, the potential that, you know, I know our team has, I know our players have. Day in, day out, the quality that we have. We have such unbelievable players and
he's basically saying, yeah, with the players that we have, we got such unbelievable players. I'm just like, fuck me. You're in doubt. If your life is in jeopardy and somebody needs to talk shit to get you back, Luke Shaw is your man. That's it. I thought we'll end that with a bit of comedy. I'm sorry that the video is not, the sound is not that quality, but big up to anybody who put he basically says Luke Shaw having a go at stand-up comedy. And that's why you hear that. But yeah, he's definitely coming out. And that's why we called it Branchester United, you know, and Panic FC. That's what part of the title is tonight. But big up to everybody. Please subscribe to everybody's channels. Make sure you follow Lesso Football TV. A Black Rain on X. Make sure you check out Elmore39 Twitch, Elmore20. Check him out. He's a gamer. You know what I mean? Gamer. He's a well-known gamer.
We'll be starting the first podcast next week for the Northern Ireland qualifiers for the World Cup because they'll be playing in just over a month and a half down the line. So I can't wait, bro. I can't wait. Big up.
Yeah, big up. Check out the podcast about Northern Ireland if you're interested. You want to know about Northern Ireland football. And yeah, big up to Jarvis Cocker, our brother, Bowley77 on X. Make sure you check out the Tactical Devils. Before we go, the last question is, Jarvis. I did watch a bit of your breakdown, you and Stu's breakdown. I've not watched all of it.
No.
There were, the level of intensity and aggression was up, but there were still worrying signs. For me, my biggest problem was typified the goal that we conceded. When the gap between the three centre-halves and the two midfielders and the rest of the fucking team, we're going to get breaking on. It took, what's his name? The guy, Czech Republic guy. One pass.
Susek.
Yeah, one pass to Bowen, simple pass to Bowen, boom. And everybody's like that. Remember, does anybody remind you that? Was Eric
Amrabat.
That's what that was. That's what that was. That's what that was. That's what that was. So for me, I think when we played better when Euro was aggressive, when the Lit was aggressive, when Evan was aggressive, when they stepped off, we were getting murdered. I think in terms of aggression with the ball, I did like the mid block. I really enjoyed the mid block that we did. We didn't the pressing. Everybody was getting gassed about the up the pitch pressing. West Ham got out a couple of times, but what we did was the mid block. So when they beat the first set of press, we then went to the middle and blocked the middle. So at the end of the day, it is what it was. But tonight,
yeah, but the Ligt was excellent because he stepped up into the midfield and was combative. You know, he wasn't afraid getting 1-against-1, leaving gap behind because he crossed his recovery pace and that he actually could fix it, even though the wide centre backs was high up the pitch. Yeah. So the Ligt was outstanding in that game. And if it's okay with you, Nordin, we can just. Because when it comes to this, we broke it down, but let's just make a 2-minute segment. I will be quick. This is the game. This is us pressing up high. And as you see here, it's Konya pressing on Todibo, who's on the ball. And when we press, we make this shape. We call it the pentagon shape. It's five edges. So what's wrong with this picture is the two central midfielders. It's Ugarte and Kobe Mainu. They are flat in this instance, and they should never be flat. They should be more like this, if you understand, staggered. One guy here, one guy there. So or the other way around, because you need security. Someone needs to be behind the other one when you press. And this was in the.
Jarvis, can I just say, when you're in possession of the ball, it's good for your midfielders not to be too far from each other. They're on the ball. If they're on the ball, it's not too bad. But when you're defending, and especially they see the space. God, go ahead, Jarvis.
Yeah, and when you see here, Todibo, he cuts in, and now there's an opening in between. And Susek, as you mentioned, just drops down and receives the ball. 5 players out of the game, and he has all the time in the world. This was one of the biggest issues. I'm just going to remove it and bring it up again because we don't want to violate any rules. So here you see Susek on the ball. It's 5 touches before he finds Bowen. And another thing was also in this instance is Heaven. He stays too centrally, too close to the Ligt. He should have gone like this just to block out Bowen, because you can clearly see Bowen's run. He wants to go on the outside. But, Heaven, the problem is, you look the way he turns, he loses all his momentum and he stays too close, too centrally in this instance. So, there was a lot of things, but I'm not going to take it away from the players. I think they had the intensity, but this was the 65th minute. It's preseason, and I think they were gassing out, and this is what happens. Basically, I'm going to give him a pass when it comes to this. I'm not singling out.
I actually believe this happened a couple of times in the game. It wasn't just that. To me, still the gap between the defense and the midfield. But Jarvis, can you just take it back a little bit? Please just take it back. Take it back all the way where he's got the ball. Right.
Who? Todibo or Susek?
A little bit. Susek.
Okay. So in this instance, the ball gets played to Susek.
Now the centre halves should be here right now. The Ligt should be here.
That's what I was about to say. Yep, that's what I was about to say.
Here challenging.
Yes.
Everybody should be squeezing. When you go for the high press, you've got to back it up. You cannot leave the gap in spaces. You can't. And you know what? Even if they get it right, so what? Take the risks. But to me, you cannot let him turn there. You can't. That's why you've got 3. And when it works out, you see who that was in the far side. They're running back as well. That is Dogu. Dogu's running back.
This is Dogu, yes.
And you see Ahmad as well. So it looks like we've got we're all right. We should be all right. But they're running back, and like said Heaven, he turns the other way. Other than taking his body that way to block out that option, and the lick then should have gone across as well to help him. He should have done that because we know that it was Ahmad and Yoro, and they're totally fine because not many runners were going into the box by the end of it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. For me, that's the biggest thing I'm noticing. You in the Premier League,
I agree.
against Premier League teams, you're gonna get exposed again and again and again and again. Unless once you go, somebody triggers, you all have to squeeze up, regardless. All squeeze up.
Yeah, and what happened when you are up against better players than Soucek and Todibo and Bowen, you know? When you have actually Manchester City playing, Liverpool playing, Chelsea, Arsenal, even Spurs and Aston Villa, we will struggle because they have much better players when it comes to this. Finding the central and having strikers that actually know how to move. So, yes, I agree. I'm worried because of this.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and just back with your point though, Jarvis, about the two midfielders has to play staggering. If we're playing on a three in the midfield, 100%. You must play, like at times you have to play staggering. But I think in this system, the two in the midfield, I think what Mainu and Ugarte are doing is absolutely spot on. Like as an absolute, they're perfect where they are. Yeah, they probably could maybe go up a wee bit more to put some pressure on the two guys in front of them. But it's so important that one of the centre backs have to coordinate with each other because the wing backs are holding the width. It's so important that one of the centre backs have to coordinate exactly what Nerdin said and press and push up because we're not playing on a high line in that photo. We're not playing high line, and this is another issue with Mamorim. We're not playing higher in our back line. We're not. If we played a high line there, we would not have conceded there 100%. And you know what? People will say, "Well, who's going to mark Bowen then?" Well, if De Ligt went up, Heaven can mark Bowen, and then Dorgu's got I think Bowen was one of the strikers. Dorgu can watch the right winger, right wing back, whoever it was, and then you've got Lenny Euro on the other side. Like you've got everything all covered. This is what I'm saying. This is why top teams play modern football. You can't. Like this is what happened with Ten Hag last season. Ten Hag wanted to play the two, obviously, not the number 8 and the number 10 and the number 6. They all wanted to play staggering. The two in the midfield, the Bruno and Mainu, they all pushed up and they left Casemiro all by himself. Whereas what we should have done, they should have all just played exactly how Mainu and Ugarte are doing. Just level each other. And if they beat our midfield, then the centre backs and the full backs have to get super aggressive because they've got so much control of the pitch. They're gonna get so much space. This is what I'm saying, man. Now this is my opinion. What I would be doing. I don't know what you guys would be doing, but this is why we need aggressive centre backs, man. And
that's why I think we should sign one. I personally think we should sign one.
And Amorim should be on to them and saying, guys, go up higher in the pitch, go up higher, get aggressive.
I don't mind. I genuinely don't mind if we get beat by that.
Facts.
I genuinely don't mind if they get perfect pass. We can't do anything about that. But it's about the offside.
Facts.
It's about the offside. And then also the midfielders and the attack shouldn't go not knowing you have to squeeze the play. There's no half pregnant.
No.
You either press or you don't as a whole team. That you all know what you're doing as a team. The front 6 can't press. Front 4 can't press. 5 can't press. And then the rest of you fucking in no man's land. I don't understand it.
I totally agree, Nordin. I totally agree.
Do the mid block that the goal came from. Do the mid block. A lot of that game in that game, we did the mid block. We got super aggressive and we squeezed. And Kobe and Ugarte were hunting the ball. And I actually thought Ugarte showed some composure in that game.
He did.
Yeah, but Nordin, we did the mid block, but as you notice, it's Todibo who's on the ball and he's trapped. So the trigger point was Todibo, and we trapped him with 5 guys. Yeah. I think this is what Amorim wants to do. But I totally agree with what you are saying, Ben, and what Nordin is saying. It's about commitment. If you see the team commit, if the trap is there, you commit 100%. Look at Emery in Aston Villa when he commits. Super high line. look at Postecoglou at Spurs. When he commit, super fucking high line. There's no half pregnant, as you say, Nordin. It's about committing the press full out. And you know, if we concede a goal counter-attacking because we are a little bit too high, so what? But what we did there, it's not good enough. That's a fault in the tactics book. You can't do it like this. You have to compress the space.
And even if look, I hate Bruno Fernandes. Like, I think Bruno Fernandes would be shit in the system. But if he did what Bruno and Mainu did, if he did that more often, I'd say, unlucky Bruno, fair play. You did your job. It's just the centre backs didn't do their jobs. That was actually the centre backs' fault than the midfield's fault. And we can criticise about the midfield. The centre backs weren't aggressive enough. So if Bruno and Mainu or Bruno and Garte or whoever it is going to be our midfield, they've got to do that, man. They can't be staggering. They can't leave one person behind. You've got to stay in line, just like your back line. And the back line have to be so vocal to each other. Euro, go for the ball. Heaven, go for the ball. Get aggressive, and we'll cover the back line. That's how you. That's and the wing backs.
But Ben, when we talk about staggered, it's not about like this.
Yeah.
No.
It's like this.
Because
you don't want the ball in between you.
They want to be too square.
Because then you're dead.
Yeah,
if the ball goes on the outside, you have a chance to recover. So you don't want to be dead. You want to close the space between them.
You don't want to be too square.
But then again, Jarvis, with Ten Hag, that's sort of what we sort of did. Like the gap between Casemiro and the 2 eights in front of us, in front of them, like was just ridiculous. And this is why I hope Amarim, yeah, exactly, Nerdin. This is why I just hope that what I just seen there from Jarvis's video, I genuinely do hope we see that more, because that is perfect what the midfield did. It's just the back line. And he needs to communicate, and I hope almost a bit more. But if he does that, if he plays a high line, like off the football is not always about on the ball, like your tactics. It's about off the ball as well. This is why I get on to Bruno Fernandes fans. It's what Bruno does off the ball. That's why I hate him so much.
He's criminal. He's a fucking criminal. He's a crook.
Exactly. But if we play the high line, and most of our conceding goals have always been counter attack, I'd say, all good. At least we're not getting, conceded from open play. That's when you then criticize the coach and criticize the players. This is it. But go on,
Jarvis, one more thing. I did notice slightly, Amarim is doing his version of Conte at Spurs. In the fact where we tried to keep the ball and suck the West Ham out with a back five still, with a wing back still back, and then try to hit I saw Rasmus making a run, so I saw Bruno making a run, and he should have really scored because Euro found him, that ball diag. Yeah. But I thought that, the late Euro and Evans were pie passing. I think that tactic, you have to have people who can keep the ball, who can really secure the ball up the pitch. If the quality of the players to bring down and the balls has to be better. I thought Evan did a bit too much at times you can't always play it. You need to also vary it because you get worked out. But for Spurs, it didn't really work well. It didn't work well because the only guy they had who used to drop in, remember, was Kane. Kane used to drop in halfway line and he used to ding the ball. And then he used to try to find Son to get out that way. I think you have to vary it. But that was the first thing watching the game. I noticed that straight. I was like, At least we saw different things. But tonight,
it will be interesting seeing tonight against a great mid-block Andoni Raiola. I think that will be. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
Are you staying up to watch it, Jarvis?
No, I don't think so. It's just like
I probably will
in the middle of the night. So yeah, maybe if I go to bed now and put my timer on, but I don't think so.
But I just want to comment there on the hoofing.
2:30. Okay, so it's 3:30 in Norway. 3:30 in Norway. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, man, like I don't mind Lenny Euro, Delit, Heaven going for the long ball for the wing backs to the 10s. I don't mind that at times, but we're doing it too much. If you can't, like, if say Ahmad's doesn't have space, or Dorger doesn't have space, or Cunha, just play side to side and let the midfielders come into play. This is why the two in midfield are so important for our phase one play. Although Bayender didn't help because he can't play with his fucking feet. But yet again, Amram should be getting into fucking Bayender's face saying, no long balls. This is pre-season. Practice makes perfect. Keep playing out from the back. We want to do this. We don't want to go back to the hair days and just hoofing all the way up. Now, we can do it sometimes if we're in danger, but it's the two in the midfield that is the biggest issue right now with this system when we're playing out from the back. They won't come close to the three the three at the back and ask for the ball. Instead, they go past the Euro, pass back the lit to Heaven, back to the lit. Oh, I see a long ball. Let's hoof. I don't want that, man. I don't want that. I want just keep playing out. The two midfields, two in the midfield drop, and the 2 10s drop as well, and then they help out, and then we can then move on to the final third. If we do that, that's the most important thing.
Yeah,
I don't mind the odd long ball from a defense.
It's
The
alright,
buyout when it's on. When it's on, it's on. But you can't rely on it. You have to vary it. Because
You have to
sometimes
vary
you have
it.
to flag that you're going to hit hard, and then
Facts.
midfielder can sneak into an area.
Sneak in. Yeah,
And then
exactly.
turn. Yeah.
Facts.
So it is what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
it
but
is.
guys, I just want to say to end it when it comes to West Ham, you know, they have had David Moyes for so many years, mid block, low block, David Moyes football, and now suddenly they are Graham Potter, high expensive football, and you know you don't shift like this with players like
Yeah.
Souček and all of this, and they were terrible trying to press high. You know, this was Graham Potter first game of preseason. He was telling his guys, we will try to press as high as we can. Guys, go at it. I don't care. This is a preseason. The result doesn't matter. I want to see how you do it. And I think we got an easy game. And all
100%.
the trigger points were there because West Ham was pushing way too high. You know, they have a
We
huge
said it at a
threat.
time. We said it at a time.
They
Oh,
had,
gonna work
they,
the game there
they
then?
had Killman. Killman didn't know what to do if we want to go to stand high or, you know,
Yeah.
so it was a terrible game for West Ham. So
The people-
everybody getting
the
giddy
people
by
actually-
this game, they got to realize this. This West Ham team is not the same West Ham team as we will see in the league. This was Graham Potter trying out new things.
Experimenting, yes.
Thanks. Yeah. Facts.
Yeah.
Are you
I
going to
said
work
that
the
at
game
the time
there?
I was saying that this West Ham team is terrible. To be fair, majority of people who were doing a watch along said that as well. But unfortunately, people, I've got to take Scholesy to the vets tomorrow.
Yes.
To get his,
Oh, what's wrong? What's wrong with Scholesy?
No, he's getting his injections, right? So
Oh.
the idea of how tired I'm going to be because I'm watching Manchester United, I'm just going to have to wake up. Sorry, Saeed. Looks like you're doing this on Euro. I might do the last game, Everton. I might do the last game, Everton, if it's on a normal time, but not this. No.
Yeah, I will do the breakdown watch tomorrow
Yeah,
night,
make sure you
9
check out
p.m.
tomorrow.
So if you're around Noradin,
Yeah.
Stu is not home. He's in Hungarian ring F1. So
What
I
time
need
are you
someone
going live? What time are you going live, Jarvis?
around 9 p.m. But you know, I can adapt whenever you're available.
Yeah.
If you can do 9 or 10, we can do 10. You know, it doesn't matter. You know,
Can we do 10:30?
we can do 10:30. That's okay. That's okay.
Cool. I'll be there.
Cool.
I'll be there. I'll be on my way back. I'll be in the bus. I'll be on my way back. But yeah.
Yeah, we can aim for 10:30, you know, so people know Tactical Devils tomorrow night. We will show some live footage and
I'll be
try
live.
to break
Let's
down the game tactically. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Cool. Love. Big up Jarvis. Big
Thanks.
up Ben. Big up to everybody of you who's watching. And what can I say to the people who didn't smash the likes on the video? 150 should have been. We had more votes. Let me have a look at the last poll. 61% said they would rate Zerski, 39% they don't. And that is 192 people have voted. And only 129 people have liked the video. What does that tell you? What does that tell you?
Well, we gave them a good show. I think this was a quality show from you guys. You know, we talked about a lot of things. And yeah.
That's please, people. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure we're live tomorrow at 10:30 here on Tactical Devils. Make sure you check us out. Me and Jarvis will be breaking aspects of the game down. I will obviously have to watch the game and find it. If you've got a link to watch the game again, Jarvis, make sure you share it with me tomorrow.
I can see what I can find. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, big up. Like I said, make sure you check out Elmore20 Twitch. That's Twitch. Make sure you subscribe to that channel. Tactical Devils, people, they should be having 10,000 subscribers already. Let's go, people. The quality analysis. You're not going to get anything else in YouTube. So make sure you check it out. and on X, Elmo39 and Bowley BOLE77 on X. So make sure you check out, and make sure you check out Lesso as well, a Black Rain, and make sure you check out as well Khalees at
Big up,
Khalees Madin Lassie. Yeah, make sure you check Chief Edit United Real Therapy. So make sure you check him out. Love people.
Sorry, guys, I have to go. My little kid woke up. My little boy woke up. So, okay, see you.